The American Western is a beloved genre that tells tales of cowboys, bandits, and a certain amount of lawlessness. While Westerns are popular and watched all over the world, they also perpetuate an unrealistic view of the West and those who live there. The truth is that many who lived in the West were people of color. Through whitewashing, the entertainment industry has erased a rich history of Mexican, Black, and Native American cowboys. In this case, whitewashing refers to the industry's disproportionate representation of people of color as cowboys and bandits. In reality, the cowboy has Spaniard, Mexican roots. In the early 19th century, white English-speaking immigrants began moving to the American West and adopted the vaqueros lifestyle. And so, the American cowboy was born. In this essay, we will demystify the popular Western genre by discussing the historical reality while showing how the white hero is still perpetrated in the Western genre. First, let's look at a brief history of the Western genre. The very first Western movie was The Great Train Robbery, a film popularly known among film buffs for its unique use of cross-cutting. It comes as no surprise The Great Train Robbery did not feature any people of color. In the movie, the entire town had the same demographic as a Connecticut country club. With this movie, the director Edwin S. Porter not only created a standard of techniques for movies, but also for the Western genre as a whole. This is the beginning of symbolic annihilation for non-white cowboys. As George Gerbner states, representation in a fictional world signifies social existence, absence means social annihilation. We fast forward 36 years to one of the most notorious Western actors of all time, John Wayne. He is the ideal American cowboy. With the continuous perpetuation of the white cowboy protagonist, Western films made it easier to neglect the very real stories of the West people of color. Western films perpetrated the opinion that white heroes had to tame the land from uncivilized Indians and Mexicans. As O'Connor explains in his book, The White Man's Indian, the Indian impeded progress because he lacked the ambition and good sense the whites used in developing the American landscape. His continuous exposure to the uncivilized West solidified the myth that the West remained a place for whites to tame. Red Dead Redemption 2, the latest installation in the Red Dead series, follows Arthur Morgan and his posse and their evasion of law enforcement. Arthur Morgan, the main character in Red Dead Redemption 2, embodies who we think of as the American cowboy. Everything from his appearance and his personality signals to us that this is what a cowboy should look like. When we put Arthur side by side with the real historical cowboy, we see a lot of similarities and start to understand the origins for cowboy influences. Even the term buckaroo originated from the Spanish word vaquero, which means cowboy. Having another white cowboy figure as a protagonist shows how little the Western genre has changed. Rather than look at the history of the actual American West to provide a proportionate representation of Black, Mexican, and Native American cowboys, the media looks at past entertainment to provide what is now commonly referred to as the American cowboy. Fortunately, with 2018 being more progressive, Red Dead Redemption 2 does have a few people of color, one of which is Lenny Summers. However, the main issue for us is that when we look at these people of color, we do not automatically think cowboy. Lenny is wearing a rather humble outfit, nothing too flashy. Because of his outfit, we can tell that Lenny is not a Western protagonist.
Now we have to go on a bit of a tangent because we really wanted to talk about how Lenny, the only black character in the game that you ride with for the entire campaign,
ends up dying. Which, to be fair, several other characters in the game die, but to quote the Red Dead Wiki, Lenny is unceremoniously gunned down. Author kneels down next to Lenny to briefly mourn his death before being forced to flee. Every other gang member who dies is given a cutscene so the player can be mourned, but Lenny gets nothing. To only have white characters code as the lead protagonist cowboy symbolically annihilates the Black, Mexican, and Native American cowboys that actually existed. By doing this, the entertainment industry pushes the image of a Wild West that was made to be tamed and civilized by white Americans while also forgetting the history of people of color.
at this point the perpetuation of the white Western protagonist has continued for more than an entire century. As we have seen, starting from the Great Train Robbery all the way to Red Dead Redemption 2, there has been little to no acknowledgement of the Black, Mexican, or Native American cowboys that were also responsible for success in the West. To ignore half of the West history just to satisfy white Americans in their search for a white Western hero has created the symbolic annihilation of the cowboys of color that existed during the actual creation of the West. This continuous annihilation can be summarized by Richard Dwyer from his book, White. We have not yet reached a situation in which white people and white cultural agendas are no longer in the ascendant. The media, politics, education are still in the hands of white people, still speak for whites while claiming, and sometimes sincerely aiming, to speak for humanity. Although the proliferation of white heroes, cowboys, and bandits in the entertainment industry has whitewashed the genre, It is important to remember the history and the lives of the very real people of color who lived and helped cultivate the American West.